Good morning, first graders. Today we are on page 167 of your student journal, and we are starting a brand new unit. So we are on unit 10, and this whole unit is going to be about learning to tell time. So our objective for the day is today I will tell time to the hour. Okay, so when we look at our vocabulary, what we first see is a clock, kind of like the clocks that we see on our classroom walls. This is called an analog clock. So the way that we pronounce this is analog. Okay, it is a clock that has moving hands, hour hand and minute hand, and a face numbered 1 to 12 to show time. So remember, boys and girls, our markers. I have my green marker, which means you're going to write this with me. So this whole thing is called a face. The circle part is called a face, just like your circle. Your face is a circle. So this is called our face. And if we look at the hour hand and the minute hand, I want you to look really closely how they're different. So hopefully you see the hour hand is short, and the minute hand is long. Okay, so that's how we're going to be able to tell the difference between the hour hand and the minute hand. Okay, we also see another type of clock. This is called a digital clock, and this clock says a clock that uses numbers instead of hands to show time. So on this clock, what you see is you see a number in front, and then you see these two dots. This is called a colon, and then you see two numbers after. So the number in front is called the hour, and the numbers after are the minutes. So this is 3 o'clock. Okay, and a lot of times we see this, maybe this is supposed to look like an alarm clock. We see it on a lot of our watches. We see it on our cell phones, maybe your iPads, but this is called our digital clock. So our steps today, boys and girls, is first I'm going to look at the clock, and then I'm going to identify the hour hand. So our hour hand first, and remember that's our short hand. And then we're going to identify the minute hand, which is the long hand. Okay, so let's see what this looks like, boys and girls. I'm going to set down my green pen and pick up my red pen, which means you're just going to watch for a moment. Okay, here's my first problem. And this is an analog clock because I see the face and I see my hands. Okay, so my question says, what time is shown on the clock? So if I look back at my steps, they tell me to first identify the hour hand, which is my short hand. So if I see my two hands, this is my short one, and it tells me it's my hour hand. So it's pointing to the 4. Now the 4 goes in front of the colon. Now, when I look at the minute hand, because my next step says I'm going to identify the minute hand, it's pointing straight to the 12. What that means is it is exactly 4 o'clock. So for my minutes, I'm going to put 0, 0. So that tells me it's exactly 4 o'clock. Because what happened with this minute hand is it went all the way around and stopped, and that completed one whole hour. So it's exactly 4 o'clock. Okay, let's look at my next one. So it says what time is shown on the clock. So I first need to find my hour hand, and they tell me it's my hour hand right here, and that's my minute hand. But I already knew this was my hour hand because this is the short one. Okay, so my short hour hand is pointing to the 10 o'clock. And because my minute hand is pointing exactly to the 12, exactly straight up, that means it's exactly 10 o'clock. Okay, so boys and girls, let's try some of these together. Okay, grabbing your pencil. I'm on page 168 of your student journal. And it says, what time is shown on the clock? Okay, so they tell us this is my hour hand, but if they didn't tell us, we would know because it's the short one. And my hour hand's pointing to 3. So it's 3 o'clock is my hour. And because our minute hand is going straight up to the 12, it's exactly 3 o'clock. So we took the analog clock and now we wrote it in a digital clock form. Okay, let's look at number 2. So we see what time is shown on the clock, and it tells me this is my hour, but again, I know because it's the short one. So the short hand, which is the hour hand's pointing to the 8. And my minute hand is pointing exactly to the 12, it's exactly straight up, which means it's exactly 8 o'clock. So we took our analog face clock and we wrote it digitally. Okay, boys and girls, so you're gonna turn the page and you are going to try some more on your own. So you have page 169 to try on your own. You have page 170 to try on your own, and then I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.